Imagine the following story elements. The tragical girls of Madoka Magica, the elemental magic system of Avatar The Last Airbender, the intricate relationships of Arcane, trauma explorations of One Direct Priority, and the magical lesbians of Steven Universe and what used to be Netflix's She-Ra. If you enjoyed any of these series, then I bet you'd enjoy Divine of Thandelia, a webcomic project, and hopefully a future animated project, that I've been developing since middle school. I'm 19 now, so this project has been 6 years in the making. Divine of Thandelia, or DOT, is a story about 6 college students and an alien elf princess who team up to defeat an evil goddess and her cult. The cult's goal? Destroy those who oppose her rule, whether they be from Earth or Thandelia. It contains many tropes of the magical girl genre, but with a high fantasy world in Thandelia, and various references to pop culture, including alternative and geek subcultures. This series is intended to be for older teens and young adults due to violence, explicit language, mild NSFW content, and for how sensitive the subject matter in the series can be and get. While it is geared towards a more queer and feminist audience, I hope that anyone can find some level of relatability within my characters and their stories. Intrigued yet? Feel free to continue watching if you are. If not, then I would like to ask you to share this with someone who might be before clicking off. Maybe we'll see each other again soon. Why don't I start off by explaining one of DOT's most important aspects, the themes and tropes. As action-heavy DOT seems to be, the real theme of the story is exploring how trauma affects the way people love one another. While the action is fun and all, the quiet moments where the characters are growing and sorting their feelings out is where the story shines, in my opinion. As for the tropes, DOT contains the following: magical girls, the power of love, loyalty, dysfunctional families and drama, found family, coming of age, dealing with sexual orientation, mental illness, addiction, and abuse, religious themes, both real and fictional, a medieval adjacent setting, a literal love triangle. And I mean, it is literally a triangle and not a typical love corner type deal. It's one where the characters are all choosing between each other with some polyamorous undertones, though not actually polyamorous, sorry guys. I know there's a lot of scrutiny with love triangles, often for good reason, but I promise you this one will hurt good. And of course, the classic enemies to lovers. And now we have the settings. Divine of Thandelia takes place on both Earth and Thandelia. On Earth, DOT takes place in western Washington state, specifically this part, and rural Vermont. DC and New York will make a few appearances, but they're not extremely relevant. Thandelia, on the other hand, it needs some explaining. Thandelia has 8 kingdoms representing different elements. Shocelia, the kingdom of the sun, Yoraf, the kingdom of stone, Duanda, the kingdom of water, Vidrion, the kingdom of fire, Havia, the kingdom of wind, Varagon, the kingdom of shadow, Estray, the kingdom of magic, and Janan, the kingdom of nature. Estray is the most relevant to the story, as most of the conflict starts and takes place in Estray, but all of the kingdoms will be touched on. I think I'm going to do a separate video on Thandelia's world building since I don't want to make this too long. I'm going to do the YouTuber thing and tell you to subscribe if you're interested, because I find world building to be yummy, and I hope you do too. Before I explain the plot, I'd like to set up the story. On Thandelia, there are 8 gods. The original goddess of magic, Adess, is the most relevant to the story. Adess's followers were very divided, with the one side claiming they could use magic to expand knowledge and wisdom, and the other side claiming magic should be used for conquest and power. From this conflict, Adess split into 2 separate goddesses: Alcoria, the goddess of dark magic, and Elisa, the goddess of light magic. This also caused a war that ended with the Alcorians winning. Alcorians want to share their power, so they invited humans from Earth onto Thandelia. Sadly, humans caused imbalance, but the gods had a solution: the divine. 8 chosen people from each Thandelian kingdom teaming up with the task of restoring balance in Thandelia. When this story takes place, Thandelians haven't had contact with Earth for thousands of years. The plot of DOT will be split into 3 volumes. Volumes 1 and 2 will take place on Earth, while Volume 3 takes place on the titular Thandelia. For now, I'll only go in depth on Volume 1 since I don't want to spoil too much. With that background out of the way, let me talk about the plot. Volume 1 starts with Nora finding Penelope fighting one of the members of the angelic army. Because Nora feels drawn to her, she ends up wanting to join in. Since she wanted to join in, Penelope's pet gives Nora the gem, and so she transforms and becomes a divine guardian. Penelope tells Nora they should find others, and so they do, finding people they felt drawn to. These people ended up becoming Leah, Marina, Ember, Samir, and Colin. This volume is mostly concentrated around the gang becoming, well, a gang, while fighting the monsters Morzana sends down. It'll set up different character arcs and will end in Seattle. Volume 2 will involve the Divine dealing with the US government while working through their own character arcs. And Volume 3 will involve taking Thandelia back from Alcoria. Alright, now that we got all of the boring stuff out of the way, the final section will be about my favorite aspect of DOT, the characters. Starting with the protagonists, we have Nora, the divine guardian of light. Lover of all things sweet and smutty, Nora finds herself becoming a magical girl after running into Penelope in the middle of the night. She loves drawing fan art of her favorite shows and anime, engaging in RPGs, listening to K-pop and rap, and baking Filipino sweets with her mother. Leah, the divine guardian of stone, is someone who is willing to support her friends no matter what. This loyalty is how she became a magical girl. Unfortunately for her, Leah now has to balance between the life-threatening nature of hurling rocks at bad guys, with getting on the dean's list, her internship at a cat shelter, and being a runner and a track star. Thankfully, when things get crazy, she can always fall back on her 4 cats, 14 cat plushies, 29 cat figurines, and 99 books from a series about cats. If you know, you know. And her dad and friends, of course. They're important too. Marina may come from a snooty, upper-class family, but she's anything but. In spite of her outwardly cutesy appearance, Marina wants to explore darker, edgier styles. She knows more metal bands than you do. Trust me. As the divine guardian of water, Marina's almost excited to become something more than what her parents would always tell her she would be. Plus, weaving around water gives her yet another thing to do with her hands. From sewing to knitting to crocheting, she's always fiddling around. Would it surprise any of you if I told you the angry one has the fire powers? No. Great, because here she is. Ember, the divine guardian of fire, is loud and aggressive. She listens to nu metal and loves to stick it to authority figures. She's probably done every non-serious, petty, impulsive crime in the book. She also likes to cook, and work out, and play video games. And here we have one of our 2 magical boys, Samir. He's the divine guardian of the wind, and boy does he hate it. Yeah, in concept, being a magical boy is cool, but tell Samir that when he's fighting for his life. When he's not fighting, you can find him playing a video game, drawing, or writing smutty fanfic with Nora. He lives and breathes the internet and knows weird internet lore and inside jokes that normies won't get. Colin is our other magical boy. I don't know if you can tell from his appearance, but Colin is the divine guardian of shadow. He wanted to start a band in high school, but it never happened. He was too busy going to parties with Ember and caring for his mom. Instead, he plays music from bands he really likes and writes his own lyrics when inspiration strikes. Occasionally, he'll do little emo doodles in his notebooks. He's actually kind of good at them. As for the last of our protagonists, we have Penelope. Or if you want to get technical, Princess Penelope of the Moss of Dalray rule. The divine guardian of magic. That name is a handful. The one and only princess of Estray, she's made it her mission to take back her kingdom after her brother, Theo, stole it from her. When she's not worrying about her kingdom, you can find Penelope birdwatching. She likes birds. She also has skills in sword fighting and loves reading, specifically historical fiction. I'm going to be a little more brief when I talk about my antagonists, mainly because I've talked about them plenty in previous videos, but regardless, this is Angelise, who, along with being one of the main villains, is also Penelope and Theo's cousin. As one of Alcoria's chosen, she is the commander-in-chief of the Angelic Army, an army set on being anything but angelic. Additionally, she has some pretty sick lightning powers. Next up, we have Angelise's bodyguard, Erica. Erica is also her wife and one of the generals of the army. Her powers are enhanced telekinesis, which allows her to lift 4 times what she can actually lift. Without telekinesis, Erica can lift upwards of 500 pounds, or around 226 kilograms. With her powers, she'd be able to lift 2,000 pounds, or around 907 kilograms. So like, a literal ton. Warzana looks like she'd experiment on small animals and drink blood for fun. And you'd be correct on those assumptions. Serving as the lead necromancer, healer, and brains, Warzana is more than willing to create disgusting monsters made from the flesh of dead animals, humans, and magic herbs. Ladies, gentlemen, and others, I want you all to meet the one and only Zen. Zen serves as the angel spy and martial artist. Their boldness helps plenty in missions. Meet Ray, who spent half of his life on Earth building PCs instead of learning to socialize. As a result, he's basically someone who lacks emotional intelligence. Along with being tech-savvy, Ray is a conjurer. His weapon of choice are throwable knives and daggers that can dissolve after a few hours, meaning that if he needed to assassinate someone, there'd be no trace. And last, but definitely not least in the slightest, is Prince Theodoin of Moss of Davre Rule. If you want to save time, just call him Theo. Theo's power is elementation, which allows him to imitate the elemental power the divine have, but just on a slightly weaker level. Ever since Theo took over, things in the kingdom have been going south, to say the least. Throughout the story, I feel that Theo knowing Penelope's potential weaknesses would be a cause for tension, and I think that's just yummy. Maybe I'm tooting my own horn, I don't know. If you made it this far, genuinely thank you so much. Indie projects like these can only survive from support from fans, so if you're interested in supporting at all, here's what you can do. Like the video so the algorithm knows I'm worthy. Comment your fun thoughts and any questions you have so the algorithm knows I'm worthy. Subscribe, follow my socials, and join my Discord server for DOT updates and sillies. I'm thinking of posting DOT on Comic Fury, Webtoon, Tapas, Global Comics, Namikami, and maybe Newgrounds. I don't know when exactly I'll be able to post it, but expect pages to come out in late 2026, early 2027. Oh, and one more thing. On Discord, feel free to DM me screenshots of your OC so that I may place them as a cameo in DOT. Your socials will be credited and your OC will be on display. My only rule is that they must be either human with modern-ish clothing or elvish with medieval clothing. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later, hopefully.